After getting up to Vientiane with the Convair 440, which they towed over to the other side of the field to repaint it, I went into the operations office, which was the old base manager's office, and Prince Panya said, "How would you like to be chief pilot of the rice drop program?" And I said, "Sure." And the Air America group had left two C-46s to Prince Panya. They were ex-Air America airplanes, and they were in good shape. And I began dropping rice. But the sites we dropped rice to were the old enemy sites, which was kind of eerie. But I did that, and in the process, these airplanes were parked out on the ramp, and there was a warehouse nearby where they double bagged the rice for airdrop. And right next to that was the old traffic building where they staged the passengers and everything else. Now this had been taken over by the Russians. And the Russians had an Illusion turboprop there. And they were doing not quite the same thing I was doing. They were simply flying it up and landing. Then they'd have to offload it. But it wasn't an easy offload off that airplane. It was through a side door. So it was very laborious and took a lot of time. And when I'd go out to the airplane and walk around it, do my pre-flight on the thing, I'd always wave to them. And they'd be dressed in drab uniforms, the ramp crew, and they'd always turn their back and walk back into their building, just giving me a snub, which I didn't care, but I had a lot of fun out of deviling them. And occasionally they'd fly this rice up to a site in the old Plain de Jars, and I do the same thing. And I could make 3 round trips a day to there too, and this incensed them more. They would never look at me or wave or anything else, which that's okay. And the other thing too, there was when I go up to the site there in the Plain de Jars and land, the red Chinese officer that was there would come out and greet me and always take me over to a tent on the side of the ramp and serve me rice cakes and tea. And every time I'd leave there, he'd give me a pint bottle of Mekong whiskey, which I wouldn't recommend to drink that. It was good for removing paint from things. But I'd collect those things, so I'd get 3 of those bottles a day, and I'd have them clinking in my flight kit as I went home. But then they started putting a little guy in a jump seat with a red star on his cap and a pistol in his belt. Obviously, they did not trust me. They thought maybe I'd run away with the airplane. And they had somebody there to shoot me, I guess. This guy didn't know where the hell we were going or what we were doing. And oftentimes he'd get airsick, which there was a bag there for him to utilize. Things began getting a lot more tense in Vientiane. There'd be the motorcycles with a sidecar painted in military gray, and 2 troops in there, one with a rifle, were cruising around town. All the places of ill repute had closed up. Lulu's and the White Rose, they were gone. But there was one bar around the corner, and I think maybe its name allowed it to stay open. It's called Saigon Bar. And I went in there one day in the afternoon, and I heard a yelp from the back. And guess who came running out and grabbed me? It was Mumbles from the old White Rose. She was still there. And this was kind of sad because, you know, her world was crumbling out there. She knew it too, because she squawked and mimed the troubles that were happening in town. And of course I heard finally that she did get amorous with a doctor from the embassy medical unit and immigrated to the United States, which was great. But now with this guard in the back seat, the jump seat, and the tension that was building in country, I knew that it's going to be time to exit stage door left. And in preparation for that, the Sino-Brit agency was still open, and my old co-pilot that I was shot down with was the manager there. And I forged some papers on Royal Air Laos stationery with Prince Panya's signature on it for tickets to the United States. And all I had was enough money to buy one-way tickets. And applied an airline discount to those tickets, so it was space available, but I didn't think that'd be a problem. And he took the letter and eyed me suspiciously, but he issued the tickets. And now the dilemma was to get out of Laos. I did not have an exit visa or even an entry visa, but I did have a passport. And to facilitate this escape, went down to the Mekong River and bribed a border guard and took a boat across the river into Thailand. And from there, overnight train ride down to a station near Don Mueang Airport, got off there, walked across the railroad tracks and into the terminal and into another chapter.